welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Sephora collection pumpkin infused brush set and sponge set. If you do want to see a review and a demo, please keep watching. The mini brush set retails for $18 and the mini sponge set retails for $16. I saw these online at Sephora and I knew I had to have it. I do want to read a little bit about each set. The Sephora collection mini pumpkin infused brush set. It's a travel size set of face and eye brushes infused with pumpkin to get you ready for fall. These products come in recyclable packaging, 4 different brushes. You get a foundation brush, a concealer brush, an angle shadow brush, and a shadow brush. These mini brushes are made with synthetic vegan bristles and pumpkin powder, believed to help lock in moisture to keep your skin with a visible glow. They work well with all formulas and are unscented. Wait a second. It says that these are pumpkin infused, so I'm kind of confused about that. Here's a closer look on what the brush set looks like. Again, you do have 4 different brushes. I really do like the packaging. It is made out of cardboard and you can recycle it. It does say it's pumpkin infused, but it's not scented, which is weird. On the back, it just tells you a little bit about what's included in the brush set. Here's what the inside of the set looks like. I can't even get this out. They're like stuck. So maybe I have to open it from the bottom. Now I can push these brushes up. It's still like stuck. It's a little bit hard to get out of the packaging. Here's what the mini brush set looks like. It's smaller than I expected it to be. I mean, these are mini / travel size. I do want to compare it to one. Wow, definitely a huge difference. This brush here is the NYX buffing brush, and then here's a Sephora collection brush. I'm gonna turn it sideways so you guys can see. The foundation brush does feel very soft on the back of my hand. I do want to see how it does apply foundation. Currently, I have no foundation applied on my face. I just applied a little bit of primer. I went in with a touch of soap canvas. That's why you guys see maybe a little bit of a white cast. It will go away. For foundation, I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation in the shade Toffee. I should have applied the foundation on one side of my face instead of my entire face because we will be going in using the sponge. Here's a closer look on what the foundation brush looks like. It says Sephora, and then on the other side it does say foundation. The left side of my face, I'm going to be using a brush to blend out the foundation. This is actually really nice. I love the bristles. It's nice and soft. It's blending out the foundation really nicely. I'm really impressed how the brush did apply the foundation on my skin. I don't have any brush marks. The next little brush in this collection is the concealer. Here's a closer look on what the brush looks like, and it does say concealer on the other side. For concealer, I'm going to use my e.l.f. Camo Concealer. This is in the shade Deep Olive. Again, the bristles do feel very soft. I also really do like the handles on the brush. It does feel nice and sturdy. Let's see how the concealer blends out using the brush. This concealer is yellow. I blend out the concealer really nicely. Again, I don't have any brush marks. I'm going to use a tiny bit of my Makeup Revolution foundation. This is in the shade F12.2. I feel like I put too much. I'm going to go back to my foundation brush, and we're just going to blend everything in. I did tone it down a little bit. It was definitely the concealer in Deep Olive. I don't remember it being this yellow on me. We're gonna come back to the eyeshadow brushes. Now we're gonna dive into the sponge set. The Sephora collection mini pumpkin infused sponge set is a set of 2 pumpkin infused sponges to add some spice to your makeup routine this fall. The rounded edges of these sponges seamlessly blend makeup into skin. Use the larger sponge for an all-over application. The smaller sponge fits perfectly around the contours of the face for easy makeup application. Both sponges are best used with liquid and cream formulas. They're also infused infused with pumpkin powder, believed to help lock in moisture. These sponges are unscented. There are two different sponges. There is a short sponge and a tall sponge. Here's a closer look on what the mini sponge set looks like. You get two different sponges. It says pumpkin infused, but it's unscented, which is a bummer. And then on the back, it tells you what it is again. Here's what the inside looks like. Are these sponges actually going to come out this time? I don't think so. So I opened up the bottom. Here we go. Now we have the two little sponges. We have a short sponge and a taller sponge. Both sides do have a flat bottom, but the top is like curved a little bit. It's interesting. I'm going to run both of the sponges under water and I'll be right back. The sponges are dampened. They do feel quite squishy, which I like. And I also do have my beauty blender. The beauty blender is a little bit bigger. Just wanted to show you guys a comparison. I'm going to use the bottom of the sponge. My foundation has already dried down. The sponge is a little bit of a learning curve. It's a little bit difficult to use. It is a little bit hard on the face. It's not as soft as I thought it would be. It is soaking up a lot of foundation. Apply a little bit more, and then we will use the other sponge to apply the concealer. Here we have the sponge side. I definitely think it did do a great job with blending out the foundation. The sponge does feel a little bit firm. Going back in using my Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Foundation, I'm gonna apply 3 little dots and we'll see how the sponge blends out the concealer. I'm not sure which side to use. Like, do I use the flat side? The pointed side, maybe the pointed side, and I'll squish it down. The shorter sponge is softer on the skin. It blended out the concealer very well in my opinion. I really do like this mustard shorter sponge. The orange one, not a huge fan of. I do want both sides to become even, so I'm gonna go back in using my e.l.f. Camo Concealer. I'm gonna use that brush, the concealer brush. This is a great little concealer brush. Now that we're looking all evened out, I'm going to set everything using my Too Faced Peach Perfect Setting Powder. This is a brand new powder. You can see the cap is all nice and clean. I do want to show you guys the other cap that I have. Look at this. It's so dirty. Taking my little foundation brush, tapping off the excess. Look how matte we're looking. I'm going to set the right side of my face, but this time we're going to go in using the sponge. I do want to use the bottom of the sponge. We'll see how this works. I like the bottom of the sponge way better. It's easier to hold instead of using it this way. Now that we set the foundation, we're going to use the eyeshadow brushes. Here's what the little two brushes look like. So the first one is an angled brush. And then the second one is a shadow brush. It says Sephora right here, and then when you flip it over, it says angled and shadow brush. So on top is the angled brush, and then on the bottom is the shadow brush. Again, the bristles on the brush are very soft. Let's create an eye look. The eyeshadow palette I'm going to be dipping into is by Natasha Denona. This is her bronze palette. If you guys have not seen my review on it, I'll link it right over here in the cards. First, go in using the angled shadow brush. We're going to dip into the shade in Beach, applying this shade in my crease, going back and forth. So far, the angled shadow brush is applying the shade in Beach really nicely in my crease. I'm going to do the other eye. I love the bristles. They are very soft. Taking the small shadow brush, we're going to dip into the shadow in High Degree, applying this all over the lid. I'm going to flip the brush over and we're going to dip into the shadow in True Bronze. Apply this in my inner corner. The angle brush is great for blending in any shadow. You can also use it to apply a nice wing. I love the shadow brush because you can pack on any lid color. I'm going to add mascara and a lip, and I'll be right back for my final thoughts. for mascara, I went on using my L'Oreal Unlimited mascara. You guys know this is my favorite mascara of all time. For lips, I currently have on the Sephora Collection Lip Last in the shade 08 Spice. My final thoughts on the Sephora Collection Pumpkin Infused Brush Tools is that I really do like the 4-piece brush set. All of the brushes are really soft and none of them leave any streak marks. The sponges, I wasn't a huge fan of, especially this orange sponge. This one was a little bit too firm for me. It did soak up a lot of the foundation. I do really like the mustard sponge. This one was really nice and squishy. It did blend out my concealer really nicely as well. And I would prefer using the bottom of this sponge. It's really easy to hold in your hand. The only thing that I did not like about this collection is that it said that it was pumpkin infused, but it's not pumpkin scented. Where's the pumpkin infused? Inside of the bristles, inside of the sponge? I can't feel it. I think the packaging is kind of misleading because it says pumpkin infused, but it doesn't tell you that it's pumpkin scented or anything. It just says pumpkin infused. It even says that in the brush kit. Nowhere on the back of the packaging it has any of the ingredients, so that's kind of suspect. It doesn't even tell you that it's unscented. How is someone supposed to know that these are unscented? What if they're sensitive to smell? It says pumpkin infused, but it doesn't say pumpkin scented. I think that was a little bit weird. If you guys did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video.